Hello, everyone. Welcome to Self-Lovegy. This is Christina.
Hi, it's Joanna.
And it's me, Buena.
How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. I recently woke up. I'm doing great. I'm drinking my coffee and my water, and I feel very calm and ready to discuss some important stuff with you. How are you, Yoks?
Yeah, you have a lot to share. Yeah, you finished the topic we were talking about today. Yeah, well, for me, I'm also coffee time for me is at this very moment, so I'm really enjoying it.
Christina, where is your coffee?
As for me, I'm drinking water. I don't feel like coffee now.
Okay, that's okay.
But I'm very energized and I can't wait to film this episode.
So we invite you all to grab a cup of coffee or water with some lemon
Even tea
inside
is
of
fine.
it and enjoy our episode today. Yeah, and enjoy your time with us.
Okay, so the last two times I asked you if you were on a diet or recently angry, but since today we are talking about studying, I will not ask you when was the last time you were studying, but I will ask you what is your period of year when you mostly feel like not studying at that time?
I mean, I don't think there's a period where I'm like, yes, I love to study, but the period where I'm like the most not looking forward to it is probably at the end of the year. Especially because usually I have exams. I used to have exams right before the new year, and now I have exams like after beginning of January, and that's when I hate it. Like, I hate studying then, because it's usually at that time most of my friends are back home and I hang out with all of my friends. I see a lot of people, family, and I am just no no to studying. But probably then. What about you?
As for me, as I started working, I kind of stopped studying that much. And I just
I feel.
I kind of study for the tests and exams, but not the same amount as I studied when I was only student. So I guess whole year, but the times where I feel like I'm studying more are exam sessions. So January, February, and then June, July. That's where I'm most in the mind space of studying. And how about you?
Yeah, for me actually, I don't have a problem with January and February. Like somehow I bounded myself to that period of year being the exam period, and I even get used to it to be exactly on my birthday. So for me, that's fine. But the period of year that I don't like to do it, of course, is summer because it's usually that one day or that one week that the weather is so nice, pretty perfect, and I have to be inside, so usually I don't.
And all your friends are inviting you out, and you have to be like, no, I can't. I have exam.
Yeah.
I actually study better in the summer or in the spring when it's like a nice weather outside, because I can study on my terrace, and I love it. I create such a beautiful study space, and I can study for hours. Whereas in the winter, I'm like, I just want to watch a movie and I don't really want to study. But also what Christina said about working, I actually noticed that when I have a job, I study a lot more, because I know that I have a limited time in my day and I devote it to studying, rather than if I didn't have a job, I would be like, oh, I have all day to do that, and I just don't end up doing it.
You mean you separate your time better according to when you study and when you work?
Yeah, because when I have a job, I know that I have a limited time. Like, I know I don't have all day to do something, and yeah.
I think we should look up to you.
Well.
Because of the work, I kind of don't feel like I have the energy to study, because I'm working 8 hours and then I'm like, I want to do stuff. I don't want to study, and I don't want to sit for another how many?
Yeah.
4 or 5 hours. I want to do stuff, and that's why I find it difficult, because I don't want to like my social life to suffer, but like something has to, in order to.
Well, or a tea, or at its finest. Well, for me, I never had an experience where I was a student and like not working. But recently, as I work like a bit more, I noticed also, as you mentioned, that like I'm not that up for studying. It's not that it doesn't interest me that much, but especially because I'm now working in a different field, like compared to the one that I'm studying in, and it's not that it doesn't interest me, but like I have more fun things now.
And what would you say, like, how much normally do you get stressed when studying? Do you get stressed when studying? I mean, I'm sure you do, but no, let me formulate that question better. How often and how much do you think you get stressed when studying?
Well, for me, it's not that hard process, because I usually search for like scripts, or I have like like shortened versions of the all information that I have to learn. So I really like underlining things and everything. So I usually go to the copy market and just print it out, and then I play around with my highlighters, and I'm not stressed when I do that. But when I don't, I'm more stressed, because I feel like I wasn't prepared as much as I could. I don't know.
Wait, okay, I'm gonna add something to my question, because this is a genuine question of mine. It's how do you study? Because I was thinking about this last time when I was studying. I was, going through some deep thoughts, and I was like, why do we never learn how to study? Like, I mean, I don't know if you did, but you never really learn how to study. You're just supposed to start studying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like you don't learn it in schools or.
Yeah, or like by anyone. I mean, maybe you do, but I don't know. For me, I haven't. And then you just kind of try out multiple things until finding what works for you. So first of all, tell me, how do you study, and then if doesn't or does cause you stress.
Yeah, I understand. Well, as I mentioned, I like highlighting things, but recently I don't have that much time, to be honest, and somehow like I'm just going out on exams and midterm tests, but I don't study for them as much as I used to in the past, especially if it's not a subject that's like my major, or so. Actually, now I'm going everything by feeling, and like I cover the most important things where I know that I don't have that much experience. But if it's anything related to like social economy, I'm just like, I will definitely know about this. And then when I'm on an exam, I see that I don't know anything about it. Kidding, but like usually the best tip that I have is only using highlighters. Everything else is, you have to be just diligent to try multiple times even when you fail.
Now let's hear from the earth science some better tips.
Well,
I'm
that's like
joking.
actually.
No, it is.
Actually, like her tip is pretty good. Like, that's scientifically, yeah, that's scientifically proven. Like, if you use highlighters with like different colors for like different terms, you kind of remember it faster. I try to read it and understand it first before I get into like memorizing stuff. I try to understand what is it about, and then I write some, because what helps me remember stuff is like writing them. I don't like write it thousands of times. I just have to like write it. Maybe like if I'm studying something that has like a lot of years, I have to write the year, even though I have it like in front of me, or like I have to write a name or a term or something. So I kind of read it, and whilst reading, I just write like the most important key things. And when I'm like looking over, and when I'm trying to see what I've learned, I kind of look at those keywords and try to put up a story. And like if I don't remember something, then I go back and like read it. If something is difficult, like I mark it like with different types of like symbols, so I know like what I know the best and what I know the least. So I focus on the things that I know the least and like practice them a little bit more. So those are like some of my, but I think it's really important to learn how your mind works. I think I've like for these years I've learned how my mind works and how I remember stuff. I need to like connect it with something that I know, that I already know, or like make something that makes sense only to me. Like make my own things that will remind me of. Yeah, and like I really do remember stuff like that a lot and fast, which is like a really good tip when you're in a hurry and you have not that much time to prepare for exam. You can like always hack it,
Yeah.
like make some
I
hacks
do
that
that.
will make it easier.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do, because usually I mean, I'm a fast learner, and I know it sounds as I fail every test, but I actually do not, because I just not in that mood recently. But I do exactly what you mentioned. No, for example, the most weird things or some business phrases, I'm just like, no, this will be something that I invented, or I don't know. I don't have an example now, but I will try to remember something by the end of this podcast. And I usually do exactly what you mentioned. Like I just invent something that reminds me of that, or a person, or some event. Or usually how I try to tie it, if we are talking about, I don't know, finances, or something that bores me a bit, something that's not like social science, I try to like give an example. For example, I go to buy tickets for the festival, so those tickets have to have a tax, and then from those tax, some of those taxes are going to the artists, some of those taxes are going to the organizers, and then on and on and on. So I really try to just build a story that's more interesting for me, and where I will, figure things out. So that's
Of
exactly
course.
what I do.
Yeah, of course you use the festivals thing.
Of
I know
course,
you're
of
like, of
course.
course you use that.
Of course. Yeah, I actually usually use like festivals or a cup of coffee, like example of cup of
That's
coffee, and like
that's an
different place
amazing
where you
tip.
can buy a cup of coffee. Tips for all of the economic people.
So guys, to study economy, go to festivals and buy coffee, and you will pass your exam.
Yeah.
Oh, don't buy
Think
coffee at the festival.
I didn't mean as
Kidding.
a
So,
festival.
that's
mhm.
exactly what we do.
So, Boana, how do you learn? Do you have better things, tricks than festivals?
Well. Actually, I mean, I think we can, after I share my tips, you will see that we all have like different studying methods, and I think like that's the best conclusion that we can get out. It's because everybody just, I mean, in my opinion, you just need to try out like different things until you find what works best for you. How I study, I'm not a fast learner. I think I learned that a long time ago, and I'm really glad I learned that about myself. It takes me very slow to, like, I can do a fast study, but I know that I will not remember it or will not comprehend it the best way. So I have more of a slow studying process. It's not slow; I can do it fastly, but it's not that fast paced. So what I do is, let's say, depends on the material. I have some things that I do if I'm studying regularly. It's another thing, but if I'm studying for a test, I usually study with questions. That's the best way I can study. Even if I don't have questions provided, I will make my own questions from the material. And because I have a scholarship, in the last 2 years I need to keep all of my grades at the highest. So I have a lot of stress while studying in the last 2 years because if I study just to pass the exam, it will be good, I will pass it. But if I have to get the highest grade, I need to I feel the pressure to learn every detail, because I'm like, what if, I don't know, the professor decided to be crazy and put something unmeaningful in the test. So what I do is I put the questions. I use flashcards. I use this web page. It's called Brainscape. You can check it out. It divides you. It makes it easy for you to make like different flashcards for each class, and then you give when you do the flashcards, you give a rating or 1 to 5, like how much you knew the question, and it does like continuous study, and then you can create like different decks and do like mixes or do like one by one, and it's really good. That's like my biggest tip. Another tip I have is
I just wanted to ask, like, do you put a question on a flashcard and then you answer like in oral and then you grade yourself?
Yeah, but I also I type it, and then after I say it, I see if I said it correctly. If I didn't, I have a system. I do one if I do one if I didn't know anything, 2 if I knew it but I had to like remind myself, 3 the same but I didn't have to remind myself as much, 4 if I said it perfectly but I forgot something, and 5 if I said it just perfectly. I'm crazy, I know. It's okay.
So
Very
Bojana is not a Virgo, but like
I'm a Capricorn, so yeah.
But damn, he's acting like one. I actually tried making flashcards, but for me, it didn't like work in that sense. It worked, but like while I was making flashcards, I kind of remembered everything, so I didn't have to like use them. Well, like that worked, but like not in the way that it was intended.
But I think that's because you mentioned that everyone has a different set of learning habits. So for you, it works when you write. But I just wanted to ask, like, are you used to overwriting like the entire pages or just the important stuff? Because I hear that some people are overwriting it multiple times, and I'm like, where's the time?
I would never like do that. It's too much time. I would like write just keywords, something that triggers the memory. Like I would write, for example, the name of the poet, or like what is a poem, because I'm studying French for all of you who don't know, or like what is the main motive of that poem, or like if a poem is about like, I don't know, like love, I try to kind of do a summary, short summary, like in literally one sentence, just like what's it about, like the poet love is dead and he's suffering, for example. This is like a banal like example, it's not like exactly like that,
all of the
but like
French poems.
something like that's really really like in a way funny, because like it's so like banalized.
Yeah, we get it.
Like it sticks. I mean, of course, I don't like answer like that, but like it reminds me of what is it about, and then I can like get to the story.
I like what you said about the trigger words, because I do that too if I'm like studying right before the exam and I didn't study anything before, because the flashcards are good but they take time to make, and it's more of a regular thing study. It's not like something you can do if you have 2 days to prepare an exam. It's pointless in that case because it will just take more of your time. But it really helps me, because even if I look, the question kind of acts like a trigger word, because when you hear it and you remember the answer that's on the back of the flashcard. I don't know if you understand me. But also I use like the Pomodoro techniques because I used to...
My favorite.
Yeah. Sometimes I do like the 25 minutes and 5 minutes break, but now I noted this is also a good tip. Put on like a stopwatch and study until you lose focus, and see like how long that lasts. And let's say that would be 30 minutes, and then like add like 5 minutes and say at 5 minutes continuously. And now I'm up to an hour and a half when I can study without losing focus. So I set my Pomodoro to 90 minutes and I study for 90 minutes, and then I take a 15-minute break, and then I just go on and on.
Yeah, I adore Pomodoro because, for example, I mean, you cannot even imagine how many exams of like 100 pages, 100, 200, 300 I prepared like in a day or two just because of the Pomodoro. And I have a technique like where I mark how many pages I want to get done for each of the set of 25 minutes. And I actually don't extend it as you do, because for me in that case it would be like the regular studying, like until you lose focus. And for me it would be I don't know, 3 hours in a row and I'm still not losing focus, and then I actually realized that I have lost the focus like long time ago. So I actually like the time limit, but of course if I'm like too deep, I don't use a break. I just like continue, I don't use that 5 minutes. But I really, really like Pomodoro for when you have like a lot of like information that you have to gather and learn for a really short period of time. Because as I said, my technique is, for example, if I have a script of 15, 20 pages, I usually what I do, I mark I will like learn first 3 pages for the first 25 minutes. Then in the break, I will repeat all the things. And then for another session, I will learn next 3 pages. And then I will repeat it on the break. And when I have like a long break, I repeat everything that I learned so far. And it really, really works for me. I passed so many exams just because of it, and I noticed that I didn't get the like short memory of those stuff that I learned. Like I really stick to it, so I really adore Pomodoro.
Did you guys know that actually in the third hour of studying, your brain is most active, and that's when you remember the most information? So in the first hour, you kind of get warmed up. In the second hour, you start to remember, and in the third hour is the peak of your performance. Like when you're studying, you should like make short breaks, and like the gray mass in your brain is most active in the third hour, and then it decreases in the fourth hour, and then you should like make a longer break. So that's a good tip also for the people who want to remember stuff fast. Just like
Same
bear
like
with.
sleeping.
Yeah, you can take a nap and then start over.
Yeah,
And
but like
remember.
third hour of your sleep is the best hour
So
of
I,
your
so I
sleep.
so I shouldn't give up after 2 hours,
No,
right?
like that's the crucial thing.
Okay, yeah, also I wanted to say another tip when using the Pomodoro technique, especially if you do 25 minutes. During that 5 minute break, like let's say you do like 4 study sessions, during that 5 minute, first 3 5 minute breaks, try not like just going on your phone, but try doing something else to take a break. Like, I don't know, drink something, go make a coffee, go hang out with your pet if you have one, or with somebody in your family for 5 minutes instead of just going at your phone, because because I study on my computer, then I'm like just looking at the screen. But you know, and then on the fourth break, when it's a longer break, go on your phone.
Yeah, I have a question. Studying phone, yes or no? For me, it's a no. Like I just turn off my internet. I like put it on mute and I keep it somewhere far away, because I'm not a person who will like stick to the phone and spend hour and a half usually. But when studying, I somehow perhaps I lose focus more faster. I don't know. So for you?
For me, definitely no phone, because I get distracted really easily. So I turn it off. And then, like, if I have a break, I'm like, you can like take 10 minutes and check like the messages and stuff. But definitely during studying, I don't like to be bothered in any way. Like, I'm turn off my phone, I put my earplugs, even though, like, if I'm alone in the room, it just puts me in the MySpace. I don't know. And I'm like focusing, and that's what I do. I also like found it that it helps to have someone to study with, but like as an accountability person. You can turn on your laptops and you can both study different things and like just mute the mic and everything, but like you have a person who's also studying and you're kind of being the other person's accountability buddy. I know a lot of people who do this, and also I know people who actually like watch videos on YouTube where there's like person just studying for 8 hours. Like that's nothing's happening in the video, just a person studying. And I know that that helps to a lot of people. So those are maybe some of the things that you guys might want to try it out.
Yeah, I enjoy watching those videos too. I have another tip. There's like a study with, and like there are videos on YouTube with like fictional characters. So you can do like I study with Rory Gilmore, or like, sounds ridiculous, but it helps. And there are like Pomodoro techniques with those videos, and it's like
Yeah.
study with Hermione, or study in, I don't know, some movie, or study with, what's the girl from Legally Blonde, like,
Elwood.
and yeah, Elwood. It's really good. I love those
Never heard
videos.
of those
Oh my
things.
god, I love those videos, and they have like lo-fi beats in the back. They're perfect for like, especially for like studying when you're like writing something, or highlighting, or like just revising
Mhm.
material. If you're studying like for 3 hours remembering things, not really, but
Mhm.
because it will distract you. But if it's like something writing, it's so good. There's like one with, Spencer from Pretty Little Liars. I love that one because it's without Pomodoro's breaks. Yeah.
I heard about those things like when I started listening to lo-fi music in general, and because I'm a type of person who has to have a music in the background whatever I do, and lo-fi is of course one of the best ones if you don't want to get distracted and everything. And I noticed, that girl like in a
Yeah.
green jumper, of course.
Yeah.
And then I started like jumping on like so many videos of like Naruto or some
Mhm.
like random anime things, but I honestly didn't know that they're like Hermione Granger, and now I have to see it. But for me, I don't know, those videos don't help me at all because I am like not looking at the screen while studying. I mean, if I do, I'm reading something of mine.
Mhm.
So like just the music would be fine for me, but like I don't know, like do you watch the video as well or?
So I use it in specific times. If I'm writing something like physically on a piece of paper, I'm looking at a paper, then I put my laptop on usually on my left side because I have like a higher desk there. And I like looking because it's not like a video of her like studying for hours. It's the same like loop of 5 seconds of somebody flipping a page. So it's not like I'm looking at a TV show. But I don't know, it's nice. Like it's like you have somebody that's doing the same thing
Mhm.
as you. I don't know, I like it.
I prefer it live, to kind of go to Skype or Zoom or Teams or whatever app you have, like Google Meet, and just like be with someone who's actually studying. That helps me in a way.
So I guess you use Omegle and those things, right? Do you remember Omegle? It was like an app like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
So awful.
Oh my god,
but
yes.
I'm not giving that
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this, I think you can Google it. There's like this page that's like two Zoom links. I don't know what it's called. I will try to find it and put it in the description. But you can do like a Zoom link, and there's like 700 people on there that are studying at all times. Like you just log in and study with other people. I don't know what it's called, but I will try and find it. It was very popular during Corona. Have you heard about it?
Hmm. I heard about it, like because people didn't want to like spend more alone time. I don't know. For me, I'm not the type of person who can study with other people. Like I can teach other people or study with them only if I already finished my studying. So like to be in a way to
Mm-hmm.
maybe explain something to them, or actually to when you just recapitulate like yourself, like to see what have you actually remembered, so something like that. But if I'm like with another person where I haven't done anything, no, definitely no, because I will just talk. And I mean, of course, I always have something more important and funnier and things like that. But one of the things that I used to do, like when I was younger, I actually went to one cafe in Novi Sad, and it was Foxtrot, of course. And the cafe was like it's a rock cafe, but in the morning, it's quiet, quiet, and then all of a sudden, of course, people come for coffee and everything. So for me, actually, people around me made me more focused. Like I did not talk to them directly, but I also, like, people see you studying. So I think that was like actually that moment, like you feel obliged to now study because they saw you, and like you don't have anything else to do. You're there by yourself. So yeah.
That's what I said, like accountability, like someone who
Yeah.
kind of sees you doing stuff. And also, have you ever tried going to the library and studying in the library?
I don't have that in my faculty, but I would definitely try. I don't know.
But I mean, you don't have to go to your own like faculty. There are like libraries all over where you can go
Oh, like
just to
open.
study. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that I think I would be too loud, especially because I like, I am a coffee drinker while studying, and then I like my music, so I would have to wear like my headset all the time, so my ears would hurt after sometimes, and I'm maybe not made for day.
Yeah, when you said like going to a cafe, I enjoy doing that a lot, especially if I have like something where I have to write papers. Like right now, I have 4 papers due in a few weeks, and I'm actually going today after filming this episode for the whole day. I'm not going to a library. I'm going to go to this cafe in Skopje. It's called Public Room, and it's like the best thing ever. It's like it has amazing parties during the night, but during the day it's like this space where it's just 50 people with laptops and it's the best thing ever. And I go usually with my friend Tean, and we write just millions of things that are due, and I really enjoy studying like that with people. But if I'm like studying something new and I'm studying for a test, I can't study with other people. Like no. No,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
feel you
Next.
completely. I feel you completely.
And
Actually, I have a story for you guys. Like
yeah,
when I was
sure.
living in a dorm, I lived with a girl who studied, my roommate was a girl who studied French as well. So we were like friends. And one day we were like preparing our exam, and it was late in the night, and we were both like so tired. But I didn't want to be the first one to go to bed, like when she's having the same exam tomorrow and she's still studying. And I was like literally tired, and I couldn't be the first one that goes. And I was like, when will she finish? For God's sake, I can't do it anymore. And then I, like at some point, like we went to the bed at the same time, but like that thing lasted for like 2-3 hours. Like it was really late at night. And then like tomorrow we kind of on the way to the university we talked, and like it turned out that both of us didn't go to sleep because the other one was like still sitting and studying. Like me, we couldn't like go to sleep knowing that like we are studying the same thing, and like someone would go to the bed earlier. So that was like really terrible. I felt like, why did I stay that long? Like I didn't need that
I would
time.
probably be like, "Are you finishing, girl? Like, please."
No, we were both like just like sitting in silence and like looking at each other, and I was like looking at her and she wasn't moving, and she was looking at me and I wasn't moving. So
weird.
we kind of stayed like 3 hours, like it was a competition. Who's gonna be the last one who stands?
Yeah, I can imagine your faces and reactions the other day.
Yeah, I felt so like stupid about like that year was the time where I had like my grades were perfect. I mean, because of her, because I had someone
to compete with
who studied. No. But like I would feel guilty when she would study and I wouldn't. So I had to like study because I would feel guilty.
Yeah, but I mean, it's common to have other people like support, while studying. I mean, I know that, for example, I like when my friends and I have exams at the same time. Because, like we are not getting out, we are not hanging out, but of course, like there's a bunch of us and there's a bunch of like, single one of us is on a different faculty. So we of course have like totally different period exams. It matches one time in a year. So usually when I'm like studying, they're not, and So now we're gonna talk about stress, and I mean, we already gave some tips on how to study better, but we will also give some tips about how to manage our stress while studying, because I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing where like it's inevitable to happen, you know. So, what stresses you out the mostly, like when studying? Is it like time limit or quantity of the information, or what exactly?
Okay, yeah, for me, I think the thing that
Or
stresses me
but
out the
even if I
most
don't get it done in
is
time, I know that I finished
either
something,
if I
so I
get
don't
it
feel as
done
stressed in
but I
time.
think the most is quantity. Like I said at the beginning, the pressure to learn everything in detail. What about you, Christina?
For me personally, it's the prospect of failing and having to do it again. Because like I've already put aside some time and I've been doing something, and like the failing thing, the possibility of me failing is what stresses me out. Not quantity, not time. I mean, yeah, sure, sometimes when I start late, I am a bit worried about time, but like I think the most I'm worried about failing. And Joanna?
Yeah, for me actually is the thing that Boana mentioned earlier, because I also have a scholarship, and I'm all the time I'm thinking how much points more do I need to achieve the highest grade, so I can have maybe even higher scholarship next year, because we have like approximate to your score, you have some amount of scholarships. And actually then when I started third year, because we are now both online and in person, and we have everything online and in person, like even exams and things like that. And the faculty actually announced that from the next year we'll probably have a totally different set of scholarships, because it's not fair to everyone. Of course, you know, some people maybe like the scholarships were not that accurate anymore, because we all changed everything. We all, I mean, you understand. And the thing was that when they announced it, that only the scholarships will be counted by your extracurricular work, like competitions and, you know, NGO stuff, I was like, thank God, finally, you know, because I had, yeah, I really had a hard time managing all of those things and having the highest scores possible. And then when they announced that, I somehow started to actually study only for the things that matter to me the most. And for example, if the subject is about finances and things like that, I will give my best, but I will not go over my capacity, because I know that that's not something that I will do in the future, and I will learn the basics and everything, of course. So I mean, I will not fail, but somehow I got relieved of that stress of achieving the highest points of ever, because especially because like now I'm officially working in the field that it's interesting to me, so you know, it's not that even a big of deal if I lose a scholarship, because I mean, they mentioned that the scholarships are gonna go different. So for me actually that was really a relief. And now when I think about it, I don't have that much stress about studying in the past months, so I'm really grateful for that.
I understand you completely. I'm glad they changed the scholarship system. And you said, like Christina mentioned, like the fear of failure gets to her. How do you usually manage that and not get stressed? Or do you manage it? Maybe you just don't.
No. No, I just feel stressed. Well, I try to manage it with like some things that are known to help with stress, like physical activity, meditation. I try to relax as much as possible. I try to talk to myself, like encourage myself and stuff. But when it comes to like those stressful situations, I think I don't manage it that well. At least that's my opinion. Like it's gotten better as I've gotten older. Like it was really bad in the beginnings. I guess like it was the same for you guys. Like your first exams were like harder than your last, even though your last maybe like 10 times more information to learn, but like your first ones were really scary.
Yeah. And do you know that meme? Like on the first picture, there's like a student like having 10,000 notebooks around him, like papers, 3 laptops, and everything. And like me in first year preparing an exam. Then, and then the second
Yeah,
picture,
yeah,
he's like literally reading from the phone
yeah.
like half an hour before an exam. So yeah, I think actually like by the time, of course, you are not that afraid or things like that, but I would really just like to point out that even if we fail, I mean, it's just another thing that you will do. So for example, if you fail at, I don't know, making a breakfast and you don't like the eggs that you made today, it's not that biggie. Like you still have an option to make it tomorrow, so
Yeah.
make it as like simplest as possible, because if you compare the most important things to you like to something that you're not worrying that much about, you will like get a relief by the time, because you learn eventually that everything has to be done some like couple of times and that's normal, like it's a process.
And Yux, what about you? How do you manage your stress while studying, if you have it?
Well, actually, yeah, I mean, I don't have some of those types of stress, but I do have. Sometimes I'm, for example, recently I'm thinking like, why am I still doing this? Maybe it's not that interesting to me, and then I actually see that when I get actually to like in the process of studying, I see that it is, and I would really like to learn more about it. And what I actually noticed for me is that if I eat a lot of junk food during those days, I will be more stressed. My focus would be bad. So what I try to do is, if I have the time, I try to go to the gym. If I don't, because usually I like make so little time slots for studying that I have to fulfill it the most. So if I don't have time, I just try to eat a bit more healthier. So I avoid ordering junk food. I avoid having like sweets, and I don't know for you, but I like to have like snacks while studying. So I always go to the to some of those healthy stores and buy something that's like a little bit more healthy, that will like for example oats or almonds or like peanuts, something that's good for your memory. And yeah, I'm a geek.
I used to actually like do that. Well, while I was in the exam session period, I would like I would literally eat like tons of broccoli because
So
it like
random.
helps with the brain. And mind you, I hated broccoli at the time. I've gotten used to eating it now. Like I was literally crying, and I was like, "Come on, like brain." And
Work, broccoli,
It's called
work.
Madre medicine.
yeah, and also like almonds, raspberries, anything that contains omega-3
Mhm.
oils is really good for your memory. Dark chocolate. So guys, like those are the things you should be eating.
Also oranges.
Like we're trying to hack
Yeah,
everything here.
everything. So also like I really like to make juices.
I started crying.
Yeah, because Christina was like, I hate broccoli, but please like make my brain bigger.
I was like, please,
Please
work.
work.
Like please work. I need you to work.
Okay, so you took it like way too serious.
Yeah, I was literally like, my friends were making fun of me. They were like, why are you doing? Because I was complaining all the time. Like I would eat one broccoli and then I would like stand and like prepare myself like for 5 minutes to eat another one. And it was like really funny.
I don't know if anyone told you, but like it's not one time eating it. I think it's like, regularly eating it.
Yeah, I was doing it regularly. I was torturing myself regularly.
Every 6 months.
Regular. Yeah, I've also
Because I was like, brain, you need to function. I need you to function. I need you to remember.
Why
and
would
then...
you torture yourself? No. I will try eating broccoli now. But I've actually heard that about like eating fish while studying because of the omega-3s.
Yeah, like raspberries, fish, dark chocolate, like nuts, all those healthy
Oh
stuff.
my god, I can't.
Nuts, so you don't go nuts.
Exactly.
You made me laugh. You made me laugh so much. I have no thoughts now. I was
Okay, so
laughing
food
for
is
like 5
actually a
minutes.
really good
Yeah.
thing, I see.
Yeah, actually, I can connect this a lot to the last episode, the second episode we made with like diet culture. I noticed when I am like, I mean, I used to do this a lot in the past, like, let's say the week before the exam when I would get like the most ready, and this was when I didn't have a study system. I would eat like really just junk food and like not take care of myself because I'm like spending all the time studying. And I really liked what Giovanna said about like putting the slots in. Another tip of mine is like using Google Calendar to like let me remember the name. What was it called? Calendar blocking. Like I use that every day. I create a calendar and I fill in the slots where I can't postpone, like for example my work, and then on the other time that's left, I would like divide it into study sessions.
Yeah, I think we should definitely leave like a couple of links for the apps that we mentioned that we are using, because there are actually quite a lot of studying apps, but people just don't know about them too much. So if anyone finds it helpful of anything that we mentioned, like we will leave it below.
And I also really liked what Christina said in the beginning, not about the broccoli. I'm joking. No, I like that too. But when she said about like doing general things to relieve stress, when you're studying, I mean, when I'm studying, I'm sometimes like, do I need to waste like so much time doing regular things? But one thing that really helps me is this meditation, and I think I mentioned it actually in the first episode, but I will mention it again. It's called a 10-minute guided medication for meditation for focus. It's by the Mindful Movement on YouTube. I really love this. It's for studying. You can Google, like try searching focus on study meditation. It's 10 minutes. It has affirmations for studying, and I always do it when I'm stressed during studying, and when I'm stressed I usually can't remember information, and I will do this meditation, and it instantly like puts me in a mood that I can study for like at least 2 hours, and it's the best meditation ever. I highly recommend it.
Okay, so but it's not a good enough meditation to keeps you up to 3 hours when you're peak.
Yeah, but if I'm already like
Kidding.
studying, yeah, I'll try find a 3 hour one.
Yeah.
So, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I highly encourage you to leave any tips and tricks as the exam session is coming, and we'll need as much help as we can get.
True.
And until next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.